I'm waiting for this reply from a friend of mine. She's not replying. I don't know what have I done. Have I said something that might have offended her? Have I upset her? I don't know. This is what happens in relationships when you overthink too much about the same thing. Now, I met my friend the other day and we had a really nice chat, and it was a really good meeting. Of course, then I came back home and then we were texting, and now she's responding to my message. And I'm thinking, well, have I done something? Have I offended her? Have I upset her? What have I done? Oh, no, all is well. But that's what happens in relationships. When we think about one thing every single time, just to find out what the problem might be and if you have done something to your loved ones and therefore now you're stressing about it. But 9 out of 10 times, nothing has happened. Everything is fine. It's just your mind tricking you to overthink about this and stressing you out. If this sounds familiar, welcome to my Overthinking series, where I'm talking about how overthinking can destroy our work life, our personal life, and our well-being. Samreen, I'm a PhD graduate from the UK. Currently, I'm working here in academia, and this series is very dear to my heart because I am somebody who overthinks all the time. Although, I must admit, I'm trying my best to improve, and I am improving, but I know I'm a work in progress. So I overthink about every situation. I replay every thought in my head, be it work, be it personal, anything. And because of that, I've been researching a lot about, well, why do I even overthink to begin with and how to overcome that. So you can watch other videos on my channel where I talk about what does an overthinking means and how we can overcome that in different situations. But today's video is all about relationships. And I'm going to share 3 science-backed tips which can really help us not to overthink when it comes to our relationships. Because you know what? That could be one of the messy parts in our lives. For me, the first question always is, why do we even do that? So while I was thinking about overthinking, I was like, okay, yes, we overthink, but why do we even overthink in relationships? And what I concluded based on my readings was that we overthink in our relationships because of the uncertainty, because of fear of rejection, and also we want to be approved by a loved one. So need of approval from a loved one. So these 3 things put together really makes us overthink because nobody wants to be rejected. Relationships could be uncertain, where you don't know where it's heading towards, you don't know how it will shape up in time, in future. So all these things would make you overthink. My tip number 1 is always challenge your thoughts, because our brains are wired to exaggerate the problems. Because in the olden times, when people were living in jungles, they always were working on the principles of flight or fight mode. And even if they would hear a small rustle in the bushes, they would think about somebody's coming to kill them. And so our brains are wired for exaggeration. And the minute you start challenging your thoughts that it's not as bad as we think it is, you start to feel calmed down. Psychologists call this catastrophizing. So what I really want you to do next time when you're thinking, what if my friend is mad at me? You have to question yourself, well, what evidence do I have that they are mad at me? Have they said something? Have they acted in that manner? And in many situations, you would not have any evidence, and therefore you would realize this is just an exaggeration of your thought in your brain. It happens many times, especially when you are new in certain environments. I'll give you my examples. So when I came to the UK to do my MBA on a scholarship, I was studying with people from different countries, different cultural backgrounds as well. And initially it was all fine. After some time, I started feeling isolated from the group. And I would think about that all the time in my head. But I could not really reach a conclusion. Only after my MBA, I was talking to a friend of mine from the class, and they told me, well, there wasn't anything. It's just that people from different cultures behave differently, they act differently, they handle situations differently. So it was never about yourself, it was just about the whole nuance thing of the culture. And I kept on thinking about, maybe I've done something to offend them, maybe I have said something which didn't like, and I just spent all my time in overthinking and stressing about if I upset somebody. Only if at that time I had known better that I need to see the evidence, what is making me stressed. My tip number 2 is we need to work on shifting our perspective. What does that mean? Now, when we talk about a relationship with your friends, family, loved ones, a romantic relationship, or any other relationships, there are always 2 people involved in a relationship. But what happens most of the times, we just look at that relationship, that situation from our perspective. Oh, this person said this to me. Oh, this is how they behaved with me. Oh, they were not happy because I said that. However, in all these situations, we are literally ignoring other person's perspective. We need to look at from their perspective as well. Maybe your friend was tired. Maybe they didn't have Wi-Fi to respond to your message. Maybe their phone battery died. Maybe they were not feeling well emotionally or physically. There could be so many reasons why a person is behaving in a certain manner. And the minute we start shifting a perspective from us to them, it really helps us to clarify so many confusions and so many misunderstandings, because we have to think about others as well, as you are not the only one in the relationship. And there are many studies in social psychology which has proven that the minute we start looking at things from other people's perspective, the confusion and misunderstanding drops significantly in the relationships. My tip number 3 comes from a very interesting concept which psychologists refer to as rumination, which means thinking about the same things over and over again, basically overthinking. So what we need to do, we need to set up boundaries with rumination. We need to notice our thoughts very carefully. The minute we realize this is the thought pattern I'm observing in myself and I'm thinking about the same thing over and over again, we need to stop them. And actually, there's one science-backed strategy which can really help you to stop that thought, is referred to as worry time. What does that mean? That in your day, you set apart some time just to worry. So you can sit down, think about all the thoughts as many times as you want, only in that limited time. Journal it, write about the fact that what this thought is making you feel, how you're feeling about it, what the thought actually is. Put everything on paper, but once that time is gone, you cannot think about that. So every single day, when something comes to your mind about this friend who is not replying to your text, do not think about that in that moment, because you know you have dedicated worry time later in the day where you can sit down, think about that, put your thoughts on a piece of paper and move on. I have started doing that and I cannot tell you how much beneficial I found this exercise. Do let me know if you also start doing it. So there it is. I really hope this video would help you to improve your relationships, and stay tuned because my next video is even more interesting, which is about why do we even overthink at night and how do we overcome that. Take care until next video. Bye.